Making a bike programme, you can't disregard sidecars. Now I'm here in a field in Essex to experience grass tracking. Andy Kerrison very kindly has offered me a passenger ride on his rig today because his normal partner Steve Ashby is actually sitting this one out. Now I've been told it's extremely physical. To be honest, I'm terrified.
Grass track started before the war. I ain't old enough to know the actual dates, but it was going before the war. On different tracks to today, they were originally all sorts of shapes, and many of the present-day road racing tracks developed from original grass tracks. Basically converted road bikes originally.
What is it about sidecars? You know, where's the development of that come from?
Well, you've really got to go back into the past. There aren't many sidecars on the road now, but in the dim and distant past, there weren't many cars, and if people had a family, they had a sidecar. So people got in with sidecars, natural progression onto racing. It's a team thing, and I think a lot of people like that. It's you know, a person might not be good enough to ride themselves, but they can be a good enough passenger in a good team, go out, enjoy themselves and have a good time.
The relationship between the driver and the passenger, it's a very close bond, isn't it?
Yes, some people say it's a bit like a marriage, really. They have to get on, they have to work as a team, but they are two different people. No driver I know of has ever gone on to passenger, but passengers have gone on to drive. You know, it's a different thing. I think once you've driven, you don't want to be the passenger. But
are all the circuits the same?
No, the predominant shape is an oval shape. The surface is invariably grass. Unfortunately, we couldn't get a grass field, so we've had to run on a stubble field today. You know, they can be from 300-400 metres up to 700-800 metres, and if you go over to Germany, it's 1,000 metres.
Now, you've obviously been involved in the sport for a while. Why do you stay involved?
I just love it. I love the social side. I can bring my kids along. We can have a good fun day out. If you're not riding, it's not very expensive to get in, but you get 5-6 hours entertainment. Everybody's friendly. You can see the bikes, chat to the people, get involved. You know, it's all encompassing really, as far as I can see. It's the most friendly sport I've ever been involved in.
And how do you pick your passenger? I mean, do you sort of try a couple of guys out and see what happens?
I've had 3 passengers in my time. They've all been good, but Alan Berry's been the best. He's been doing actually riding and competing for nearly 14 years now, and certainly makes a difference to have somebody that knows what they're doing on the back, because they're much of the riding force and the team as anything. I couldn't do it without a good passenger.
I'm very happy riding with Neil. You almost have to gel as a team. You have to work as one, and hopefully we do.
Have you ridden with guys before that you've got on and you just suddenly thought, this just isn't working for me?
Yeah, once.
Is it?
It lasted 2 meetings.
Did it?
And I said, no way, I'm not doing this anymore.
And what was it about it that you suddenly thought, right, there's something missing here?
I just felt unsafe. And he was, I believe the expression would be throttle happy. He was like going into the turns too quick, and I said, no, this is not for me.
Honestly, it's quite a weathered unit, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a bit. We used it last year for the British Championship. And I took it home and left it in the shed and forgot all about it until this year.
So you haven't actually cleaned it then since last year?
No. It did well for us last year, and it's doing well for us this year again. So.
Are you sort of semi-superstitious then, if you keep the mud on that helped you last year then?
You do tend, if you wash it, they break down.
And what actually is it about this that you enjoy doing?
It's the acceleration and just the drifting all the time. The engine is so powerful, it spins the wheels. If you want it to go around the bend, you've got to put your full trust in the passenger and just pin the throttle.
How did you actually get your passenger?
Well, he used to be racing against me, and his bike kept breaking down, and he jumped on the side.
And has it been a match made in heaven then?
We've been doing it probably 7 years together now, so...
It definitely is. Do you not get nervous? I mean, do you not have a fear?
I do have a fear of letting go more than anything and falling off. It's just hold on.
When you're racing, I mean, is there a kind of, if somebody's committed to the line, you give them that right of way, or if there's a gap, you guys just go for it?
If there's a gap, we just go for it. It's the first one to the bend that actually takes most of the race. Nobody really gives way to anybody else.
Why are the Welsh so good at this sport?
It's just dedication to the sport more than anything.
Now this sport's all about grunt and hanging on, but there is another sidecar event which is even more spectacular. I'm here at Canada Heights to experience off-road motorcycle sidecar racing. It's 15 minutes of just grueling pain on the bodies. It's like modern-day chariot racing, but off-road. Why they do it? I have no idea.
As a driver, they're very difficult to drive. There's no resemblance to a solo whatsoever, no resemblance to a car, because if you look at the bikes, you've got a three-wheel device, but a three-wheel device works best with one wheel at the front and two equally spaced to the rear, or the other way around. These aren't. Difficult to drive, but the passenger in the thing, these guys here are some of the top physically fit sportsmen in the world, and I'm not kidding. They're unbelievably fit because it is very, very demanding sport.
Eddie, what actually makes these people do this? What makes them come here and take part?
They are a special type of people. To me they are, and to the followers they are. The answer to that question, I think you best ask them. I don't know what makes them do it. I think it's the love of the sport. It's certainly not for a money issue.
Henry, did you start on solo motorcycles or did you go straight to sidecar?
I go straight to sidecar because it's more interesting than on solo bike for me. So that's why I started in '84 with the passenger.
And what made you choose to be a passenger, not the guy driving?
Yes, because my father was also a passenger, and that's why I started also as a passenger.
Would you ever change seats?
No. I've passengered a couple of times with my brother Rob when he used to race. But other than that, I've always been a driver. So.
What element is it about the passenger that you think, no, that's not for me? Or do you just like the driving side?
I'm mostly in control.
When you moved from solos to sidecar, what was the big difference from riding?
Yeah, when you move, you must forget everything. It's two completely different sports. Sidecar is a sport with two people. Solo, you think alone. That is the most biggest difference.
So it's really, you're just working together as a team?
Yeah, everything must be automatic. You don't have time to talk when you drive. Then two people, but with the same brain.
There seems to be a real element of trust that you and the driver have together.
Yeah, you must trust each other, and you must both have the feeling of the bike. When you don't trust each other, when you don't trust me, I cannot make the speed. Because then you think, oh, he's too late or that, then you crash. Oh, that's not good.
Do you not have a fear inside when you're sitting and you're racing? I mean, for me, watching, I was fearful for the people racing. Do you not have that?
For us, the first problem is when you do a big jump for the first time. You think, yeah, I do it, no, yes, no, yes, yeah. And when you do it one time, easily, after it's absolutely no problem. You are not afraid, you do it. Like you go to buy the newspaper, it's the same.
John, it's an absolute extreme sport, and from what I'm seeing, the passenger plays such a massive part in it. Can you kind of show me what you're doing, your footholds and handholds when you're taking the corners? If I sit on the driver's side, if you can jump on and kind of take me through a...
Well, basically, the driver will obviously be where you are now. If I was coming up to a right-hand turn, I'd basically get up to you, put my arm around you nice and cosy, hang off the back this side, one hand on the handrail here, basically be right off the bike, just keep your foot on the ground, and I'll be hanging right off of this side here, like that, okay? And then the G-force of the corner as we come out of the corner will pull me back up on top this side. And obviously going over to a left hand, the driver himself would sit his arm basically down into there.
Are you serious?
Yeah, seriously.
My goodness. So he's down here.
Yeah, I'll step over to here, grab handhold there, handhold on the back of the mudguard, and hang off as far as I possibly can.
And you're literally in the dirt at this point, aren't you?
Yeah, literally bum on the floor. So yeah, and then again, use the G-force of the corner as you come out of the corner.
Yeah.
To pull it back up again. You don't actually use yourself to pull yourself up, you use the G-force of the corner.
What possesses you to do this?
Well, I just do a sheer enjoyment, basically, you know. Just love to do it, and you can't get more exciting sport, really can't. It's just a fantastic sport, I love it.
From watching, it's extremely demanding on the rider and the passenger. From a fitness level, do you have to train? Do you have to train extensively?
Yes, we do a lot of exercising, a lot of physical trainings, and that way it means it's team, because it's two people and both must be in good shape and working together, and then it comes good results. So.
Well, you may have watched this sport thinking it was physical, but if you have a look at this gentleman's hands here, you can actually see just how physical it is and how demanding it is on his body. That's amazing.
It's nice.
I couldn't put off my chance to be a grass track sidecar passenger any longer, so I get my briefing with Steve and Andy.
Place right foot in the front of the deck, your left leg come down, so you're kneeling, hand on your first handhold, back hand will go on to the handhold at the back. Okay, not underhand, go overhand, right? Brace yourself to keep forward, because obviously the bike's going to be at full peak revs. As soon as Andy starts to move out, this then gives you the signal to lean into the outfit.
Now, why are you moving into this specific position for the corners?
Right, corner speed, you'll probably be doing anything from 40 mile an hour upwards. Now, what happens with the outfit is as you're going around the corner, you're going into centrifugal forces, which are going to try and pull you out. And these outfits, if you stay in this position, the outfit will just keep going straight. It doesn't matter how far Andy gets out. Then you'll get a few expletives and deletives coming out. Right? So what you do is you come over with Andy, if you want, and as you see how it goes in your practice, you can often just keep your head on his back like that. So as Andy gives you the nudge, you don't come out straight away.
Don't throw yourself out.
No, just pull yourself in
and I'll pull in
to basically the start position again.
Andy, they're very specifically made for this sport, and I've noticed that there's just very little suspension on the unit. Why is that?
Rigid rear suspension. We find we get much better feedback with that.
And the lump's obviously 500cc. Actually, what is it?
500cc. This is actually a Masek, which is a new style of engine coming on the market, designed by the same person that designed the Jawas.
And are you running this on just regular petrol, or is it?
No, this runs on alcohol, methanol, alcohol, 99% pure.
Now, I noticed actually something I haven't seen before, these handlebars. They're very unique to this sport, aren't they? Why is that?
More than likely because the driver gets off the bike. Every time you go to a corner, the driver comes in and gets off the bike. And with handlebars up here, it'd be no good at all.
Makes perfect sense. As I compose myself and put on my safety gear, let's go over to Don, who I'm sure is doing something a little more sedate.
This wonderful machine is British made, and it's made by the same company which makes razors, and it's the Wilkinson motorcycle. It's 1000cc and it was manufactured in 1912. It was their attempt to produce a luxury motorcycle, and that it certainly is for its day. War in 1914 did curtail production, and Wilkinson then went on to make armaments. Only about 200 of these wonderful machines were made, and this is number 160. So why don't I get on it and show you some of the interesting features that this machine has. First of all, I should mention that it has 4 cylinders, which is very modern and somewhat rare in 1912. Another big difference is that the oil systems in those days did not recirculate as they do in a modern engine. And in this case, it was a hand pump which pressurized the tank, and then by adjusting this small knob, one could see the oil dripping through. Went to the engine where it was burnt or dripped or lost. The engine is cooled by water by means of a radiator. That in itself is unusual at that time. In this case, there is a feature which is even more unusual, and that is that behind the radiator there's a fan to improve the cooling. That is a very modern feature which you see on most modern motorcycles. This is the handbrake, and it's a feature which is more related to a car than to a motorcycle. Starting this machine is somewhat unusual. Most machines had a kick-start, some of course was push, but this has a handle start, and it's necessary to pull this up, engaging the ratchet into the flywheel to turn the engine over, and this is the way in which you start it. It's necessary to be very careful doing this, and I think that people with short legs would be at some risk. I must say, it's a very nice motorcycle, very, very smooth. It's easy to handle. It's more like driving in a small light car than it is a motorcycle. It has a very quiet engine, and when you get into top gear, you can slow right down to a very low speed and pull the throttle, and it will just pull away gently, and it's quite magical. In the sales literature, it was stated that it would do certainly in excess of 60 miles an hour, and I'm quite sure that it would build up and do that on a long run. Overall, a really nice machine to ride. If I had to make a criticism, a small one, it would be about this wonderfully upholstered bucket seat. It is so comfortable and holds you so snug that I think there is a danger of dropping off to sleep.
When you're committed to taking part in these events, there's one thing that never crosses your mind, and it's something you cannot prepare for.
Steve, how do you get over this sheer panic that I've got in my stomach at the moment? Do you still feel that when you go out?
Yeah, I think most racers do. I feel it's a good thing to have because it makes you mentally aware. It doesn't make you complacent, and all you've got to do is just stay focused to the task in hand.
I'm trying to control my stomach at the moment because I have to tell you, I'm petrified. Okay.
Yeah.
This is us, is it? At this point, I am thinking to myself, what on earth am I doing here? Yeah, it'll be something to tell the grandchildren.
My experience was terrifying. It was like nothing I'd expected. I was literally hanging on, and 4 laps felt like 40. I don't quite understand why people do this. The brutality of the sport was much more than I'd expected, and this was just the practice laps. know how you do that, Steve. I don't know how you do it, mate.
That's good for a first attempt, I tell you. That weren't bad at all. You weren't hanging about either. That was not mucking about. You weren't allowed an easy ride then.
I can't exactly describe the feeling. I could only say it is the most terrifying thing I've ever done in my entire life. The vibration in the bike, you're just literally being thrown around continually. There's no rest up. And the minute you actually kind of get into any swing, somebody's in front of you chucking stuff at you. And I'm absolutely knackered. And I'd advise everybody to do it once. And only once. Nice one,
mate.
Nice one.
Good one. That was all right. We stream four together like that, we'll be all right.
Mate, I'm not sure if I can do that, to be honest, Andy. I have to tell you, that was terrifying, mate. Steve, I've made a decision, mate. I've had a go, and it's been absolutely fantastic, but you're back in the chair, mate. I can't do it again. It's
certainly
unbelievable experience, and I have to admit, thank you, obviously, for jumping out and giving me that opportunity, but
yeah.
I'm glad I've done it, but I couldn't do it again, mate.
No, that's perfectly all right. You're a brave man to get in there in the first place, as I said, just, you know.
Thanks again, much
That's
appreciated.
All right, no problem at all.
Basically, have a great afternoon racing.
I will, and it's something to remember us by.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
And you can tell your friends and
that's excellent.
That's what you've done.
Well, there you have it, grass tracking sidecar racing. Probably the most terrifying sport I've ever been involved in. My hat goes off to all of these guys that take part. I came here, I wanted to experience it, and I did experience it, but I won't be doing it again.